Magnificent Phillip Island, a place of natural wonder, breathtaking coastal scenery, wildlife, and a myriad of gastronomical delights. It also happens to be the home of possibly one of the most recognisable pieces of motoring real estate anywhere in the world, the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. We are here at this hallowed piece of tarmac on Bass Strait for the opening round of the 2022 My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. Hello and welcome to the island for this much anticipated event. After 2 years affected by the global pandemic, we are finally set for a full season of racing, and it all kicks off here this weekend. 4.45 kilometres, a very special roadway here. The riders love this circuit. There are 12 corners on the circuit, only 2 of them are relatively slow. There is one of them there, turn 4 at what is this weekend Honda Corner. Then we go down towards Siberia, then the long run up to the top of Lukey Heights, and the run to the finish line starts here. Races have been won and lost in this area of the circuit for many, many years. Turn 11, good drive out of here to finally get the run through turn 12 and get the run down Gardner Straight. Time to find out now about the Alpinestars Superbike class of 2022.
There's been a lot happening in the world of ASBK since last season. All the teams have been out testing and preparing for the season ahead. We've got new riders to take on the establishment for 2022. It's going to be a good year. Wayne Maxwell, retired? Think again. He's back and he's hungry.
I don't really care what everyone else thinks. I'm back. For us, we're going for number 4 and 3 in a row.
His main arch rival, Troy Herfoss, has been battling his injury since his crash in Darwin. Is he ready for the challenge for his 3rd title?
My team's here to win. I'm here to win. I've got some rebuilding to do, but in 2022, I'm going to do my best to get to the top.
Brian Starring, fresh from a 4-year stint with Kawasaki, joins Desmo Sport Ducati for 2022. But he hasn't raced since Darwin last year. How determined will he be?
I'm not one to talk up results, but I want to find my feet on this bike and in this team and in this championship. I think in the long term, my results will do the talking.
Glenn Allett, he's ready to lay down the gauntlet aboard that BMW M1000RR, and that thing is fast.
Had a taste of the podium last year, and consistency is the key. So getting on that podium is all important for me, and taking a race win whenever we get the chance is the goal.
Josh Waters is also back on the grid, joining Allerton as teammate at Next Gen Motorsport. He knows no fear aboard the German thoroughbred.
I've been thrown a lifeline by the Next Gen Motorsport team to join this awesome team, and I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't think I could, so I'm going to give it my all.
Lachlan Epps, he's young, determined, and shows loads of speed during the off-season. Can he turn that into outright success?
Yeah, I've had one of the strongest pre-seasons I've ever had, and I'm looking forward to showing that that's not one lap speed, but over race systems 2. So my goal as one of the young guns is to come and shake it up this year.
Mad Mike Jones returns to Yamaha for 2022. Can he deliver the Blue Crew their first championship title in 15 years?
I'm here to win the championship this year with the Yamaha Blue Crew team. I'm certainly positive that we can achieve that with the team and myself this season.
Crew Halliday has come awfully close to winning the championship in the last few years. Will this season be his aboard the Yamaha?
We're in a position where we can win. You know, we're back on Pirelli tyres. We know we've got the data from their previous years, and everyone's got the hype behind them. Looking forward to it.
And then there's a new breed entering the ranks. Defending Supersport champion Brock Pearson and 2nd generation racer Max Stauffer.
I've set myself a little bit of a goal to try and achieve an Australian Superbike Championship in the near future, so hopefully soon enough we can start landing towards the top.
There's a lot of people that, I've looked up to growing up, still in the class, and for me to be able to race those people, I think is pretty special. They're people that I could learn a lot off, and I think it'll help me further on in my career.
One thing's for sure, from the young guns to the elite, this year is going to be smoking hot.
Qualifying for Alpinestars Superbike yesterday afternoon saw Wayne Maxwell blitz the field to the tune of 1.44 seconds when he recorded a 1:31.363. Craig Martin was impressed, so were the rest of the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech team, and that 1.44 seconds was over Crew Halliday, who finished in 2nd place. The rest of the field pretty tightly packed, but at the moment Wayne Maxwell stands alone at the head of the field. Time to get ready for the Alpinestars Superbike class. We are ready to go racing for race number 1. Here is your grid. Wayne Maxwell will start from pole position with Crew Halliday and Josh Waters joining him on the front row of the grid.
Mike Jones, Brian Starring and Daniel Falzon round out row 2.
Row 3, Lachlan Epps, Brock Pearson, the impressive rookie, and Glenn Allerton, the 3-times champion, round out row 3.
Row 4's Matty Walters, Arthur Cece's and Mark Chiodo. Good job by him.
Bo Beaton, Aidan Wagner, and the international traveller Ant West round out row 5.
Troy Herfoss, Jed Metcher and Ben Burke are on row 6.
Well, ready to go racing. We've had our warm-up laps. All of the pre-season testing and practice here this weekend has been done. Alpinestars Superbike for 2022 is about to get underway. Red flag leaves the front of the grid. We go into the starters' hands. Red lights are on. Superbikes are go for 2022. Great start from Wayne Maxwell. He got a classic launch off the line. And as they make their way down towards turn 1 for the first time, it is Maxwell that leads and Brian Starring from the second row of the grid is up into second place. Daniel Falzon's also got a cracking start and slots in behind Josh Waters on the Maxima BMW bike number 21. And Josh is in third place, Daniel Falzon in fourth place. But what about that start from Brian Starring from the second row of the grid?
That's exactly where he needed to be. He was second quickest in the morning warm-up, only a few tenths slower than the man that leads the race, Wayne Maxwell. So if he can just get in the tow, he might learn a thing or two and try and hold on to the back of Maxwell. It's a big ask, but I'll tell you what, Brian Starring will be pretty happy right now to be where he is. Josh Waters is up there in third position too.
I think that was Bo Beaton running wide at turn 4, but it looks like Mike Jones has also got a pretty good start. He's up into fifth place on board bike number 46. The first of the Yamaha R1s.
Crew Halliday's gone down the field. He started on the front row, but unfortunately for him, he sits back in just at the edge of the top 10 at the moment.
Mike Jones up to fourth place now, Steve. He's on a charge early. Is Mad Mike. Well, he's all mad and he's ready to go as Wayne Maxwell comes across the top of the hill and down into Pirelli corner. It is the Pirelli shod, the Ducati of Wayne Maxwell that leads. From the Phillips, well, the sister machine, another Pirelli shod Ducati, certainly not from the same team though.
Yeah, well, Maxwell certainly isn't running away with it at the moment. Starring seems to have his pace. It's early days as they head around Yamaha, revs your heart out corner onto that massive straight, hitting speeds of nearly 300 kilometres an hour.
So it is Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech ahead of Desmo Sport Ducati. Then it is the Maxima BMW team of Josh Waters in third. Then it's the YRT, the Blue Crew YRT team of Mike Jones. Then it's the second of the Maxima BMWs, Glenn Allerton. He may not have qualified well. He's up to fifth position already, getting the better of Daniel Falzon in the latter half of that lap.
We know Glenn Allerton's a racer, that's for sure, and he gets stronger as the race goes on, so keep an eye on him. But these two Ducatis out front just seem to have gapped Josh Waters just a little bit.
Already starting to leave big black lines through turn 3 as they come down into a Honda corner. Wayne Maxwell, his usual very economical body movement style, not moving around the bike too much. Probably a lot of that is to do with the Avalis that he's been training on and doing a lot of riding on the Avalis. Brian Starring looking pretty comfortable on board the Desmo Sport Ducati, considering he hasn't been riding it for that long. And likewise, Josh Waters on that Shane Kinderas prepared Maxima Oils BMW, the new M1000RR that only made its debut in Darwin last year.
Well, Arthur Cease is on a bit of a mission here. He's just gone past Glenn Allerton as well. So although in practice he didn't do much, he seems to be making his way forward now. And if you think back to Kalen Ben last year, he was quick. He got taken out. But if he'd have stayed on the bike, he would have got a good result. And I'll tell you what, he'd be pretty happy to be up there in fifth position at the moment.
I reckon he was on track for a podium at Tail and Ben was Arthur Cease. It is still Wayne Maxwell, the leader, by 0.914 of a second over Brian Starring. Josh Waters still in third place, but Arthur Cease is on a charge. He's at Ant West. Just getting it a little bit wrong at the apex of turn 4, having to run a bit wide, but gets back on track very, very quickly. And Crew Halliday's now found his way through as well, through Glenn Allerton, and is glued onto the back of Arthur's machine. Yeah. So Arthur has probably got another advantage. We know that he's a great starter, but he's also incredibly light. So his power to weight ratio on that Yamaha is getting very good. But also, too, the team's been working to make the bike better as well.
Oh, absolutely. They've been doing a lot of work on that bike. And, you know, there's a lot of improvements. Arthur's been riding without a lot of things. There's Matt Walters in that group, too, who's just staying with that pace at the moment. Back out front, though, that gap's just opened up slightly. 31.7 last time through for Wayne Maxwell.
Well, this is Matt Walters' first ASBK race since Darwin last year, where he had that massive crash with the brake failure at the end of the long start-finish straight. In the interim, he's got married and done a little bit of pre-season testing as well, getting ready for this first round.
Well, it certainly hasn't slowed him down. He's setting a good pace out there at the moment. 32.1, though, for Brian Starring in second place. No jump starts, so the race is for the win right now.
Right, Josh Waters and Mike Jones are having a little bit of a tussle here. Jones tried to put a move on as they got down to turn 1, but Waters has got a good run through turn 2 and just edged the Maxima BMW a fraction away from Jones's Yamaha YZF R1M. They're battling for third place because our race leader is still Wayne Maxwell. Look at the next group coming through, though. You got Crew Halliday, who's now ahead of Arthur CC's. So Crew Halliday on board bike number 65. He's got his catch for company on the back of his helmet, and he's on a charge now. The yellow gloves of Crew Halliday really stand out amongst that group as well. Daniel Fowles riding incredibly well with that broken leg too, Steve. And Glenn Allerton, the next rider through. Then it's Matt Walters sitting there in the 9th position still. Aidan Wagner up into the top 10 as well on the Addicted to Track machine, bike number 28. You can see the white bike there from Aidan Wagner, just sitting right behind Matt Walters' all-green Kawasaki.
I do want to keep an eye on Crew Halliday. He's never won a race here at the island, but he is the only man that has been able to run with Wayne Maxwell. If you think back to a couple of years ago, he was the only guy. It was Wayne Maxwell, Crew Halliday, and then Daylight back to the rest of the pack. So he should have the pace. It's a track that he gels well with the Yamaha. We can see from Mike Jones that the Yamaha works well here. And boy, what a job he's doing on the number 46 machine on his first ride on an inline 4 for quite some time.
Well, and we know how fast the BMW is. Mike Jones's Yamaha just pulled out of the slipstream and blasted on past the BMW M1000 RR. So there's certainly not shy in horsepower for Mike Jones's machine. The fact that Mike Jones is also very light probably doesn't assist too much or hurt too much as well. There you go. Look at that on the AMX replay. Jones just pulling out of the slipstream straight down in towards turn 1. Well, Wayne Maxwell something has happened. He is falling down the leaderboard, Steve.
Yeah, Maxwell's got issues. Brian Starring is leading the race and Maxwell is falling back. We do not know what's wrong. We will bring you an update when we find out. But there is no Wayne Maxwell at the front of this pack. He's crashed at turn 8.
Turn 8, that's heading up towards the top of Lukey Heights, a pretty fast area of the circuit.
That's a big one. That's
the end of the hay shed.
You can see all the bits of the bike through there too. He's crashed in the hay shed corner there into Dunlop, lost the front, and you can see he's up and walking, but there's bits of Desmo Sport Ducati everywhere. Not Desmo Sport Ducati.
Boost Mobile Racing with KTEC.
You've got it.
That leaves Brian Starring in the lead on board bike number 67, the Desmo Sport Ducati. Mike Jones up into second and Josh Waters on the podium in third place. Crew Halliday is on a charge and on the last lap was still half a second faster than the riders in front. So keep your eye on Crew Halliday's progress over the next couple of laps.
Looks like he's just pushed that little bit too hard and lost the front. Looks like we've just had a message from Race Safe that Maxwell is up and about and he's okay.
As Brian Starring's got a pretty handy lead of about 4.8 seconds over the rest of the field. It is Jones in second, but is that only temporary because his teammate, the man from southwestern Sydney, is really on a charge now and he's got his eyes fixed on the back of Mike Jones's machine. Time to head down to the pits with KP.
I've got Craig McMartin from Wayne's team. You're the team manager here at Boost Mobile, KTEC Suspension. Tell me what you saw out there happen at turn 8.
I didn't see anything, to be honest. I was just up on the roof trying to just look at the gaps, and all of a sudden he didn't come around. So looks like he's probably crashed at the hay shed by the dust I could see. So, you know, I wasn't worried about is Wayne's okay. You know, we can rebuild the bike and or use a spare bike. So, you know, that's all fine. We'll just, you know, make sure he's good for race 2.
Oh, nice and relaxed. Thanks so much, Craig.
Thank you.
And that's all you can do. That's all you can do if you're a team manager. Make sure that he's okay, which we've heard that he is. Get that bike ready if they can. If not, he's lucky he's got a good spare bike there to be able to pull out later on today for race 2. But he's going to have to make race 2 count. This is a tricky situation for these guys. You've got Crew Halliday in front now. Mike Jones, what does he do? You do not want to take your teammate out.
No, that's certainly right, but they also want to be the first one of those official Yamaha R1Ms home. And Crew Halliday, we said he was on a charge. He had a lot of work to do. He didn't get the best of starts. He started on the front row of the grid. He was back to about 9th position. He's worked his way back through the field. How has that affected his tyres, Steve? Because we're on lap 8 now of the 12-lap journey. So we've still got 1/3 race distance to go. And Jones, is he able to just sit behind now? Because we've heard before that the easiest way to get around this track is if you can follow someone rather than having to push the wind in front.
That time through, Crew Halliday did 303 kilometres an hour. So that is
that's pushing
quick.
the win too.
That certainly is.
Jones, who was in his slipstream, was only 298, so 5 kilometres an hour faster.
Jones didn't get a great drive off the final curve there, off the Yamaha Rebs Sport corner. He had a bit of a bobble, and that will slow you down. You need to be perfect with this track to get the right speed.
Good battle here between the 727 Moto teammates, Jed Metcher and Brock Pearson. They've also got young hard charger Mark Kyoto in there as well. And Mark Kyoto doing a pretty good job on that Yamaha, trying to rebuild his team after a bit of a difficult year last year. But he's got some good people around him doing a good job. Glenn Richards helping him out as well. So it's good to see Mark making forward progress.
Brock Pearson in that group too. Good to see him, learning from those sort of guys. This is his first Australian Superbike Championship race on a Superbike. So really impressed to see him up there, right, with Jed Metcher as well. So, he'll be able to learn a thing or two. Max Stauffer's there as well. Luke Johnson is up there too. He's doing an impressive job, the youngest guy in the field. Cooper Chandler as well is still out there and circulating around, and looks like he may have done a personal best time in the race. So a good job by Cooper Chandler.
Yeah, good to see Maxi Stauffer on bike number 27 step up to the Superbike class this year with a good team behind him as well. His dad, Jamie, knows a thing or two about Superbikes. As we look at this battle between the Yamahas, they are trying to be the first Yamaha rider to win the championship since Jamie Stauffer won it in 2006 and 2007. And you can see by the bike attitude, they desperately want to be that man.
Yeah, 15 years it's been, Phil, as you said. And I tell you, Mike Jones is starting to look a little bit stronger again now. It is easier to sit on the back of the bike. You can just, behind the guy in front, you can just conserve a little bit of energy, use the slipstream to catch up a little bit, take a few more breaths. You judge your braking off the guy in front. So, and we know that Cruz had to push hard to get to where he is because he fluffed the start. We'll be interesting to see what he says about that. But Mike Jones, as the races go on, we know that fitness comes into it, and it's starting to wind down now. So Jonesy, he's going to have a dig, I reckon.
This man here is on track for a solid haul of points in Alpinestars Superbike race number 1 as he starts the final lap now. Brian Starring on board bike number 67, the Desmo Sport Ducati. It will be Brian Starring's first win in the Superbike class since he won all 3 races at the Bend Motorsport Park a couple of years ago on board that BC Performance Kawasaki when he had the Dunlop tyres that were clearly the superior tyre for that weekend.
And here we go, the Battle Royal is on now. What's Mike Jones got? He's got to try it in the Honda corner if he can. They come out through the AMMF corner, down the Bass Straight, and through your Yamaha Financial Services. He's got to try and set it up here if he can, but he can't. Crew Halliday's quick through there. Jones is too far back. He goes to the outside. He's got a better idea, I think, on where he can do it. This is Brian Starring's race to lose now, Phil.
Well, as they make their way out of turn 4 Honda corner, we're into the second half of this last lap of the first race of the 2022 season. Brian Starring has got a 5.6 second lead. He is off setting sail, hoping to secure his 10th victory in the ASBK class. But the battle at the moment is really this one for the podium between Crew Halliday and Mike Jones. We've seen Crew have some great speed, but Jones is closing right in now for the run to the line. And who is going to try and move down in towards turn 10? No, it's Pirelli corner is a no overtaking zone for Jones. 2 corners to go now. He's going to try and get the run to the line. Crew Halliday's going to have to try and outsmart his teammate here. But it is Brian Starring through turn 12 for the final time. He's setting sail for the line now, Steve. This will be 10 ASBK victories for Brian Starring. His first race on board the Desmo Sport Ducati, and he takes the win on board bike number 67. The battle for the rest of the podium looks like Crew Halliday is going to get the drive to the line. That must have been a sensational run through turn 12 for Crew Halliday. He actually pulled out distance on his teammate Mike Jones, and the 2 Yamahas round out the podium in 2nd and 3rd position. Josh Waters will be coming to the line now to take 4th place as well, and Matt Walters, a pretty good charge for him as well, and he should finish inside the top 10. As we come across the line now, it is Glenn Allison made his way back up to 6th place, just behind Daniel Falzon in 5th as the rest of the field comes across the line. And Ant West makes his way up into the top 10 on board bike number 13. Well, congratulations to Brian, Ben, and all of the team there at Desmo Sport Ducati. What a victory by 5.498 seconds over Crew Halliday. First race win for the team, Brian Starring, in your first race. You can't start with a team better than that. Mike Jones rounds out the podium behind his teammate Crew Halliday. Josh Waters just off the podium in his first run for the Maxima BMW team in 4th. Daniel Falzon in 5th. Glenn Allerton in 6th. Wagner in 7th. Cece's in 8th. Matt Walters in 9th. And Ant West rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. Troy Herfoss, big improvement for him. He was in the 33s for the first time in the weekend in that race. That'll give him confidence. Jed Metcher for the 727 Motorsport team in 12th. Mark Kyoto, solid result in 13th. 14th is Brock Pearson, and Bo Beaton rounds out the points in 15th. Welcome back to the championship. And there's those tears I was telling you about. How happy is Brian Starring?
There you can see Ben Henry and Dan Stouffer, another man that's won races on a Yamaha Superbike in ASBK. There with him to celebrate the victory. But yeah, you predicted it, Steve, that there would be tears, and I think you can see how much that means to Brian Starring. Let's go down to the AMX podium with KP.
All right, we're at the Alpinestars Superbike Race 1 podium, and in exciting news, Mike Jones in your campaign for Yamaha Racing Team P3. Congratulations, that was an epic battle with your teammate just at the end there.
Yeah, look, it was a really good race. I mean, for the opening race for me with the Yamaha Racing Team, I'm quite excited about that one, to be honest with you. I made a reasonable start, got a little bit boxed in there, and so I was a few spots behind, but, you know, had really good pace early on, was able to pick through those riders, get myself up there, and then obviously Crew had a little bit more pace towards the end there, and I just couldn't quite get past him. So a strong race, but I'm very happy.
Excellent stuff. Great start to the year, my friend. And in P2, Crew Halliday from Yamaha Racing Team. Crew, that was an interesting start there, but you made up some good time.
Man, I need to sort my starts out, They're horrible. I've never met anyone that goes from the first row to like the third row by the first corner, but you know, I was starting to panic, and then I thought, nah, you can't. It's like 12 laps. It's a fair way around here to Phillip on. So, you know, I started to get passed by other people. I was like, all right, I started to panic, and then once I got my move on, that's when it all started to click. You know, I seen Josh and Mike, and I knew that gap was going to be kind of hard to close, but you know, I found myself really fast in the sector 3, so the gap kept getting closer and closer and faster than what I thought. So I was like, I'm on for a shot here for podium. Then I seen Wayne crash, which sucks, but you know, I wish I was up with Brian to try capitalise on Wayne's mistake, but it's racing how it is.
Exactly, but there's another race to go today, so you go and relax and enjoy this P2.
Yeah, I just need to sort that start time out, but thank you.
Excellent stuff, well done, Crew. And in P1 from Desmo Sport Ducati, the one from WA, the one that we just saw some tears from, Brian Starring. That must have felt so good.
Oh yeah, I've been pretty patient for a long time, and anyway, I've got to get it together because I've got to race again this afternoon. But
it's been a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah. All right. Big thanks to the team. Geez, they gave me an incredible motorbike, and we were chasing all weekend, and I knew that we had a good race pace. I didn't know how good it needed to be though, and once we set out, I could really see the areas where we were struggling and a few areas where we were strong, and in the end, I kept the pressure on. I didn't do any more than that, but we were rewarded with a race win today. So I certainly hope Wayne's okay. It's never fun sliding along your backside. But anyway, I couldn't be happier. Thanks so much to Ducati, V4R, Panigale, and my team.
Thanks so much, Brian. Well done. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Wayne Maxwell, Australian Superbike champion. I'm going for number 4 in 2022.
He goes up the inside, there's Maxwell. Can he hold it on line?
It's Wayne Maxwell out front at the moment with a pretty decent lead.
I'm back because I love it, and I'm here to set history. Well, I guess after the bend, you know, I had such a great time, and it's always a great feeling with the people in the team. And we sort of spoke that how we could improve and how we could move forward. So it was a long discussion to, you know, most of the things in motorsport are financially driven, so we had to try to get a budget together. And yeah, we could do what we wanted to do and achieve the goals and continue to set the standard to be number one, and that's what 2022 is all about. For me, round one's always been a bit of a struggle for me. We've always been so fast. You know, it's always at Phillip Island normally, which is a circuit I go really well at. But it's always had issues, things that are out of my control, and I've left here on the back foot. And when it comes to the end of the year, I've been just short on points of what I needed. So for us, is the same way as what we did in 2020. Come here, maximise the points at a circuit where the Ducati V4R works good at, and is a great circuit for me. I think we just keep doing the same things we do every weekend. We just work through it, have a good race package, do long runs, and lead from the front, get clear air, and yeah, stay away from trouble. I think when you're in the pack, that's the problem. People get desperate, and I reckon I might have a target on my back. I think 2022 brings a fair bit of excitement because we've had not only Troy, we've got people that have found their feet. At the end of last year at Tailem Bend, there was a lot of people that were probably in positions where you didn't expect. There's a lot of people with points to prove. Definitely yes to Troy. I don't expect him to leave any stone unturned and be the ultimate competitor he is. You know, Josh Waters is there. We're seeing Glenn Allerton. Yamaha are back on Pirelli. That's won the the championship every year since 2014. Look, it's going to be a pretty tough year. You know, it won't be like, oh, I'll just settle for second. I think you'll be fighting for every single point all the way. Just keep improving everything. Like, don't leave any stone unturned. The same process we always have. I need to improve my riding. The guys are going to improve the bike, and hopefully it'll just continue to just be able to stay ahead of the rest of the field. But I know they're coming. If I win 2022, we'll make history. But I'm unsure. Last year I probably spoke too early. There were so many things that changed through the COVID period last year and lockdown for the better for me, not for the worse. But being able to mean I can come back without the support of my family and all of my sponsors, I wouldn't be here. So let's just take one weekend at a time, and yeah, we'll let the dust settle on 2022 before I make any decision on that.
Let's have a look at the grid. Wayne Maxwell will start from pole position. He's joined on that front row by Crew Halliday and Josh Waters. Second row of the grid, Mike Jones, race one winner Brian Starring, and Daniel Falzon.
Lachlan Epps starts from 7th. He had a DNF last time out. Let's hope they sort that out. Brock Pearson, good result from him. Glenn Allerton making amends. Matt Walters in 10th. 11th is Arthur Ceces, and Mark Kyoto had a good battle out there too.
Bo Beaton having his first outing on the V4R in about 2 years and doing a great job this weekend. He's on row 5 with Aidan Wagner and Ant West. Looks like they have solved some of those bike issues that they were having earlier on in the weekend. Row 6, Troy Herfoss, Jed Metcher and Ben Burke, who's been having bike gremlins all weekend. Wayne Maxwell starting from pole position. He's already 25 points behind Brian Starring in the championship as the red flag leaves the front of the grid and we get set to go racing for Alpinestars Superbike Race 2. Superbikes are go, Steve, as we make our way under the Melbourne Bridge and down towards turn 1 for the first time. Maxwell got a great jump off the line. Looks like Josh Waters has also got a cracking start as well, Starring, as he was in race number 1. Second place as they tip through turn 1. And is that Mike Jones? What a start from Mike Jones. He's up into third place as they make their way through turn 2.
Crew Halliday got a much better start this time too. If you remember race 1, Halliday was back in the pack, but he's exactly where he wants to be now, right on the back of those Ducatis.
Now imagine how much tyre he's going to save by not having to surge his way through the field. Looks like Troy Herfoss is a good start as well. Matt Walters going up the inside of him as they make their way through the ultra-fast turn 3 area at Yamaha Revs Your Heart corner. But it is still Maxwell that leads from Brian Starring. Was that someone going a little bit wide? Was that Josh Waters? I think they're in 4th position, going a bit wide at turn 4. And Crew Halliday's moved up into 4th now.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Mike Jones was having a good look up the inside of Brian Starring there too. Couldn't pull it off up out of the Siberia corner, but nevertheless, you're never going to pass a Ducati this weekend on Ducati corner, are you?
Up the top of Alpinestars we come. Alpinestars Superbike Race 2, lap number 1. It is Maxwell that leads. Few bike lengths over Brian Starring.
The last time that Maxwell was on this bike, he was in the kitty litter coming out of the Hayshed corner, the Dunlop corner, so he's probably going to be a little bit gun shy, but that's not showing at the moment, is it? He's still pulling out a half a bike length here and there. Interesting to see what the pace will be this time round.
The V4 absolutely screaming, as is the Pirelli tyre, as Maxwell makes his way out onto the start-finish straight.
I honestly don't think that crash is going to phase him too much at all, you know what I mean? Like, he's just on such a high at the moment. He's just accepted that that's what it is. Daniel Falzon, what a great first race he had. Back from injury, riding really, really well out there at the moment.
Well, essentially, he had a massive injury to his leg that could have been the end of his career, but to his credit, he's bounced back. He's got an incredible amount of fitness back in a short amount of time and ready for this season opener. It was only 3 months ago that he broke that leg. So Daniel Falzon has done a sensational job just to be here this weekend. Team's lucky that they've got a good test rider in the shape of Liam Wilkinson, who's also the chief spanner twirler, along with Daniel's brother John, the electronics technician.
Look at Maxwell. He's piling the pace on already. He's looking pretty good out there. Crew Halliday's made a little bit of a move there too. So Crew Halliday moves forward nice and early in this race. He'll be buoyed and happy that he's been able to get past Mike Jones so soon.
Well, that's a lot earlier than what it was in race number 1, wasn't it? And remember, Crew Halliday said that he hoped that he would be able to tag onto the back of Brian and Wayne. We know that when he gets his claws in early, Crew Halliday is very dangerous around here. I think when we spoke on Friday, Steve, we both said that Crew Halliday is probably the one person that could upset the Ducati apple cart here this weekend, and he's proving us right in race 2.
Yeah, Josh Waters, not quite the start he had in race 1, but still settling into that team and bike. Nevertheless, 5th position at the moment, looking pretty good out on track.
So just a recap of your top 10. It is Maxwell starring, Halliday in 3rd, Jones 4th, Waters 5th, Daniel Falzon 6th, Allerton 7th, Arthur Cece's in 8th, Lachlan Epps in 9th, Mark Kyoto rounds out the top 10. Then it's Matt Walters, Jed Metcher in 12th, Bo Beaton on the North Coast V, Twins Machine in 13th place, Brock Pearson in 14th, and Aidan Wagner, who was very impressive in race 1, back in 15th position, just 1 place ahead of Troy Herfoss in 16th.
Well, Maxwell's just gone through at a 1:32.0 on his spare bike. The other bike's been put back into the trailer. That's pretty impressive stuff. Very close to the old lap record, but nevertheless, Maxwell on a mission. Crew Halliday 32.3, so he needs to find a couple of tenths. Mike Jones is hanging in there too. Josh Waters did a really good lap at 32.6. This could be a pretty fast race.
Yeah, Wayne needs to find 0.2 of a second if he wants to take that lap record off Mike Jones. The current lap record of 1:31.881 set by Mike Jones on the 24th of February 2019 on a Kawasaki ZX-10 RR that he'd borrowed for the weekend.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff by Mike Jones. Well, he's on a mission now. Just sitting in there. Waters is on the back of that group, looking pretty good. Allerton's made his way past Falzon now, so he's got Waters in front of him. Good weekend for the Maxima BMW team.
Well, the other thing is that, as Josh Waters said earlier on, Glenn Allerton is a racer. Once he gets out there in the race, the ear infection that he's got will be a little concern to him. He'll have his eyes focused on his teammate further ahead, and expect bike number 14 to try and claw his way forward. As though Falzon gets into the slipstream, there's certainly no shortage of horsepower in those Yamahas. Look how quick they are. You don't go past an M1000 RR BMW in a straight line like that unless you've got a fair amount of mumbo on board.
You do, but Phillip Island's a funny place. You only need a slight headwind, and all of a sudden, if you're in the slipstream, that gives you 10 kilometres an hour.
And it's all about your run off turn 12 too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Of course, the Superbike class brought to you by Alpinestars. Wayne Maxwell, wearing those Alpinestar leathers, gave them the ultimate test in the race this morning, where he went sliding across the tarmac, and luckily sustained no serious injuries. A little bit of a sore finger, I think, was what Wayne said was the only issue that he had. So just goes to show you why these guys wear the best protection that you can get.
Yeah, he won't be too worried about that at the moment. He's pretty much just out there doing what he does, which is 32-minute lap times around this track. 32.0 the quickest, 32.5 that time round. For the first time, Starring was a little bit quicker, so I think that Starring's going to be able to put the pressure on. That gap is about half a second. Maxwell's going to know pretty soon that he's not going to be able to break Starring. That's been Maxwell's game plan for the last couple of years, to get in front and take off. Interesting to see what happens now that he's got the pressure on him, because not only is the pressure coming from Starring, but Halliday's there and Jones is there as well.
Fair amount of pressure in this little group here too, with Daniel Falzon just starting to get away from Glenn Allerton a fraction. Arthur Cece's putting a lot of pressure on the 3-times champion as well. Of course, Arthur Cece's, we mentioned riders that have had overseas racing experience. Pretty much all of these guys have, but Arthur Cece's has raced at the top level in the Moto3 World Championship. Remember, he was Jack Miller's teammate back in those days. But Daniel Falzon doing a sensational job here. So Allerton, the New South Welshman, is having a tough time with these two rapid South Australians at the moment.
Yeah, due to the broken pelvis and leg and things that he had to get a special suit made up. I forget the exact measurement, but that leg is like so much skinnier than the normal one that they had to get a special suit made for Daniel Falzon, and certainly hasn't slowed him down. He's still got that determination. Getting married in 3 weeks, the only issue is it clashes with the race in Queensland, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there.
So they're getting married in Queensland is what you're telling me?
Oh, I'm staying out of that one.
Well, he's putting on the pressure. We're only just over half race distance as well, coming up to complete lap 7. And of course, it is Craig McMartin's birthday today, so Wayne looking to give him the best birthday present possible. A race victory here at round number 1 for the McMartin Racing Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech team. And I think, if anything, looks like Crew Halliday is actually starting to close in on the back of Brian Starring as well. We'll keep our eye on their lap times as they come round to complete this lap. Look at this field of riders making their way through. That's a lot of talent in that group there. You've got Mark Kyoto, Brock Pearson. Is that someone pulling into the pits? Troy Herfoss going around the outside of someone there on the exit of Michelin Corner.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Herfoss is in that group too. Pretty impressive. Pearson's there. Aidan Wagner.
Lachlan Epps has got a problem. He's going backwards. That was him that looked like he had a problem up there at the top of this circuit. And so it could be another race DNF for Lachlan Epps on the 83 BMW M1000 RR.
Not the weekend that he wanted, unfortunately, but he's entered the pits. You know, he's got the pace, just needs to get it into the race-winning situation. There's Anthony West. Good result from him. He's just gone past Jed Metcher there, moved up into that 10th position. Aidan Wagner there as well. I can't understand Wagner because Wagner was very, very fast at the test. You know, I thought he was going to be right up there. He normally goes well at this track. I think he's just going to do a bit of confidence building or something. Maybe they need to tweak that bike a little bit more, but he hasn't been firing on all cylinders like I expected he would here.
Well, he was pretty fast in race 1 as well towards the end of the race. But Ant West was having all sorts of difficulty with the bike. They started off the weekend with no grip. Spoke to the team. When they got grip, they lost steering, so they were trying to get the steering back and maintain the grip. And I know they've been working very hard with Dunlop to try and sort all of those issues out. So great to see Ant West now back up into 10th position. Of course, he did have a great recovery in race number 1 too, Steve, where he ran off the circuit down at turn 4, had to go around the long lap penalty loop pretty much, and then was back on track and scored a good result in the end. But this is a much better result for Ant West as he gets to the head of that group now, involving Jed Metcher, Aidan Wagner and Brock Pearson.
Wayne Maxwell eking out that lead, 1.8 seconds now.
Look at Crew Halliday. He's closed right up onto the back of Brian Starring as well. He wants to go ahead of that Desmo Sport Ducati. He was, of course, first behind Brian Starring in the first race, where he secured that 2nd position ahead of his teammate. He wants to make it a pair of 2nd positions, just like he did, was it, 3 seasons ago now, at the beginning of 2020, where he followed Wayne Maxwell home in both races and was the only person that looked like he was able to challenge the pace of the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech rider.
So Starring has sort of lost this race in the last couple of laps because he dropped back to, say, the high 32s, 33s, but now he's gone back to the 32.5. So I don't know what flustered him for a couple of laps. Perhaps he had a moment or something, but that allowed Maxwell to keep banging out those fast lap times. But he's back.
And allowed Crew Halliday back onto his tail.
Exactly, yeah. So whatever happened in those last 2 or 3 laps, it's unsettled him, but he's back on the pace now.
There was 0.07 of a second between the lap times of our top 3 on the last lap. All of them 1:32.5s. Here we go, AMX Superstores replay now of Aidan Wagner coming down the inside, Speedway style on Jed Metcher. Yeah. Well, that's Aidan Wagner at his best, isn't it?
That's more like the
sideways, aggressive on the brakes, going up the inside, and that would put Aidan Wagner up into 10th place. Jed Metcher in 11th, and Ant West back to 12th place.
Crew Halliday definitely looking for a way past now. 32.9 last time through for Crew, 33.2. Yeah, Starring's just searching a little bit for grip. I think he's lost a little bit of grip. It's a little bit cooler out there compared to what it was like this morning. So
look at the way the Ducati drives out of the corner there at the end of AMMF corner and down towards Yamaha Rev Jihad. He certainly gets a bit of a lead over Crew, which Crew's able to pull up on the brakes. Crew's gone up the inside. Turn 4, Starring ran, what was that? Couple of feet wide, and Crew Halliday said thanks very much. Once again, the grunt of the Ducati gets Brian Starring back into second place, but he knows he's got a fight on his hands now as they exit Dunlop. Crew Halliday just screws the throttle on that Yamaha. Looks like he's got pretty good grip at the back too.
Yeah, the Crew's bike's working really well at the moment. It's just a struggle on how he's going to get past. If we have a look at the AMX replay, Starring goes in slightly wide. Crew tries to nip up the inside, almost makes the pass, but Starring's on the inside for that next left hand of the Ducati corner, and not much he can do there. So Crew is got to try and figure out another game plan. What he probably should have tried to do was to nip up the inside into that next corner. Even if it was a block pass and slowed them both down, it would have got him into second position.
Well, we've seen the Yamahas are fast when they can use the slipstream. Is Crew close enough to utilise the slipstream of that Desmo Sport Ducati as they come down the straight? Look at the Ducati. It just romps away from Crew Halliday, who's got his body trying to get under the screen as much as he can. He's about 6'2" tall, Crew Halliday. He's not the shortest man out there. As I don't think he was able to get past Brian Starring as we go back to our race leader, Wayne Maxwell. He's on the 11th lap of this 12-lap race. He's literally riding away from the rest of the field. The lead now 2.915 seconds over Brian Starring and Crew Halliday. Fastest man on the last lap was Wayne Maxwell with a 1:32.741. Both Starring and Halliday back into the low 33s. In fact, everyone is in the 33s all the way back to Arthur Cece's in 8th place, who just did a 34.1. Then you've got Matt Walters, a 35 flat. A 35 flat for Ant West, who's back up into 10th place ahead of Aidan Wagner, as well as we get ready to get the last lap board at the end of this lap. Back down to KP for a quick update.
I've got Ben Henry from Desmo Sport Ducati. Now, Ben, what do you think Brian's capable of in this last lap?
So we've got a lap to go. We are just clawing on to second place. Hopefully, I think he should be able to hold it. We've made a small change to the bike, and I guess it's probably not... it's hard to say because Wayne wasn't in the race before. It's hard to say, but... We've certainly come back to the field a little bit. So, anyway, it's all good. I reckon we should be right for second.
Great. Thanks so much, Ben.
Cheers.
Well, Brian Starring is going to have to put in an incredible last lap to hold off a hard-charging Crew Halliday, but he's done the best he can to get a great drive out of turn 12 and open up a little bit of a lead over Crew Halliday as they go down towards turn 1. Halliday closes it up on the brakes into turn 1. And can he make a move at turn 2? Will he be looking for a move at turn 4, Steve? That's one of the strategic points on this track that you pointed out before.
You got to think that he wants it, don't you? We know how fast that Ducati is out of the AMMF corner. It gets good drive down the hill. That's going to be make it wide, but we have seen Starring make mistakes into there, which has allowed Crew to have a little bit of a dive. He just needs to, if he does have a go, he's got to finish it off. But no mistake from Starring this time round.
Well, and also too that we saw on the last lap that as soon as the Ducati hits the straight and starts to pull away from the Yamaha of Crew Halliday, it doesn't matter how much drive grip Crew's got at the back of the machine. Wayne Maxwell heading up the hill for the final time towards Suzuki Corner. The one that caught him out this morning, it's not going to catch him out this afternoon as he makes his way safely through there. The big question is, can Crew Halliday get into a position to put an overtaking manoeuvre on Brian Starring as they come across the top of the hill at Alpinestars and down into Pirelli Corner, turn 10 for the final time. Wayne Maxwell has a quick look over the shoulder. He sees he's got a 2.5 second lead over the rest of the field. Through turn 11, Michelin Corner for the final time. Round through turn 12, he's off heading to victory is Wayne Maxwell. He's first of the season. 25 points in the bag for the Boost Mobile Racing with K-Tech team. Onto the straight for the final time. I think Starring may just hang on to second place, but Maxwell takes the win. Starring should take second. Crew Halliday will get on the podium as well in third place. And redemption for Wayne Maxwell as he gets the win in the second race of Alpinestars Superbike. His first win of the weekend, and gives team manager Craig McMartin the best birthday present possible.
One win and one bike to repair. But what a ride by Maxwell to come back from that. What he did as we go over the line for the final few riders, and Wagner, what a What a midfield battle it's been. Ant West there, good result from him. And
Jed Metcher gets the nod over those three to finish in 10th place.
It's good to see Jed Metcher starting to come to grips with that R1. Like, they've been working hard. He's built that team, but it's all about this man here now. Cool, calm, collected, winner.
I think that Steely Glow says it all about what Wayne Maxwell wants to do in 2022. He takes the win by 2.469 seconds over Brian Starring. Crew Halliday in third, his second podium of the weekend. Mike Jones in fourth, Josh Waters in fifth. A good weekend for Josh Waters on board his debut on the Maxima BMW. Daniel Falzon in sixth, Glenn Allerton in seventh, Arthur CC's in eighth, Matt Walters in ninth on board the Kawasaki, and Jed Metcher for 727 Moto rounds out the top 10.
Oh my God, what a wild ride. The Alpinestars Superbike Race 2. That was absolutely incredible. Crew Halliday, P3 for Yamaha Racing. How are you going to catch these Ducatis?
I honestly don't know. That's the first time I've been properly behind one, and man, the torque those things are coming out of the corners, it's insane. Like out of 12 in our Siberia, they were doing damage to me. But, you know, to be honest, the top end speed isn't much difference. I actually started to slip Brian there when he made a bit of a mistake, and I actually making ground on him down the first straight. But, you know, I think we just got to, just go back to the drawing board, get a bit more grip so I can get a bit more speed out of a corner, and hopefully that can match the power of those Ducatis.
Yeah, well, it's an excellent start for your campaign to potentially be the first Ducati on the top step at the end of the year.
Yeah, thanks. You know, I want to, honestly, I've been in this sport for so long now, I just want to get Yamaha a title. I've been with them for so long, I promised them every year, but, you know, hopefully this is a year.
Well, as we heard, it's been 15 years since you guys had a title, so you deserve it.
Yeah, it's, hopefully I can get them one, if not Mike.
Excellent stuff. All right, and in P2, Brian Starring from Desmo Sport Ducati. Brian, just tell me how you approach that race, because the last one was just so incredible for you to come out and win.
Yeah, I had to really concentrate to bring my mood down before that one. But anyway, look, that was still a really great race. In the end, I wasn't able to challenge Wayne at the end like I'd would like to have. But regardless, yeah, we've learned. We're going to race here a lot this year, and we just learned a lot in that particular race. So overall, it's super positive. I never thought we'd leave here with a championship lead, so that's a big bonus, and smiles all around at Desmo Sport Ducati.
And your crew chief is away, so Steve Martin decided it's better that he stays at home from now on.
Oh no, Byron. Thank you for all your help, even via Zoom. And, mate, we missed you so much here. Imagine what we could have done with you.
Oh, okay, excellent stuff. Thanks so much, Brian. Congratulations.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And in P1 from Desmo. Oh, sorry, that's definitely not Desmo. Bruce Mobile with K-Tech suspension. Wayne Maxwell, my gosh, redemption. You had work to do and you got it done on not your number one bike.
Yeah, look, all weekend I've struggled on that bike. Honestly, every time I've ridden, I've been like, oh, I don't feel so uncomfortable on it. But the boys did a great job between races. They went over the whole bike, checked everything to make sure that we had a good package out there, and it was good enough to win today. And you know, I can't apologise to my guys enough for the mistake I made in race one. Yeah, it's a bit of an uncharacteristic thing, but we've got some work to do, so that's the start of it.
Yeah, but some really important championship points there, because you are going for your fourth, right? 3 in a row.
Yeah, well, it was good to get a bit back and know that I didn't lose it the first lap through through where I crashed Hayshed. I was like, oh, I better just send it on in here, and I made a mistake there one lap, and I was but all good. Feel really good, and yeah, go and get the body healed up a bit better. I'm pretty sore after the crash, so happy to get a win and get out of here.
Yeah, a few bruises maybe.
Yeah, a few bruises. I just want to say a massive thanks to all of our partners that joined us again this year. There's a bunch of them here. The engineering brilliance from the guys from KH Equipment and K-Tech. They're so good. Everyone just puts in their bit, and without all these people, it doesn't happen. So massive thanks to them, and sorry about today. Bring on the next one.
Excellent stuff, Wayne. Good on you. Some good redemption there. Some really valuable points from the Boost Mobile with K-Tech suspension team. Congratulations. And Phil, we're sending it back to you.
Yeah, thanks, KP. It has been an exciting round here. Massive thanks to Destination Phillip Island for putting on such a fantastic weekend. Alpinestars Superbike Championship points sees Brian Starring head to round 2 in Queensland Raceway. Not too long to wait for that with 45 points. Crew Halliday in second on 38. Mike Jones in third on 35. Look how tightly packed it is after that. Josh Waters in fourth on 33. Daniel Falzon in fifth on 31. Glenn Allerton in sixth on 29. Wayne Maxwell on 26. Tied with Arthur CC's for 7th and 8th. Matt Walters in 9th on 24. And Aidan Wagner rounds out the top 10 on 23 points. Back down to you, KP.
Thanks, Phil. Wow, Steve, what a wild race. What a wild day, really. Just a really good example of how professional and how incredible these riders are as athletes. I guess let's start with Wayne Maxwell's off, which was very uncharacteristic for him. I think it really surprised the entire paddock.
Look, he's at the top of his game right now. He really is. And he had an off. Everyone thought, well, maybe that might just show a bit of a chink in the armour, but he's so strong at the moment that his first flying lap after that crash was a 32.0. He didn't really make a big mistake, but when you're riding as fast as these guys do, he was able to put it behind and get back up, and I mean, bang, he's on the money. He's the man you need to watch this year. The good thing for me though, Kate, was the other guys were pretty close to him, and I think that this year is going to build into being like an absolute ripper.
Oh, the battle of Ducatis is going to be pretty juicy, don't you think? Because Brian's starring win was, I think it was emotional for everybody to see him come back and do what he did on that Ducati. You know, there was so much working against him. There was so much he had to learn with a new team, and being from WA, you know, there was just a lot of hardship that he went through to get here, to be here and to be competing in this team.
I think the thing with starring today was we saw he was speechless, he couldn't talk. The amount of emotion and effort that he's put in over his whole career, the tears in his eyes said it all for me. I mean, it was just fantastic to watch, because you saw a guy with pure happiness there.
Oh, 100%. A huge thank you to Destination Phillip Island for having us here at this incredible track. We will see you at Queensland Raceway very soon.